I am not watching live action One Piece. I don't care about it. I hate the race swaps. I hate the coping. I hate the narrative right now that this is the definitive version of the story. I keep seeing this thing like float around sometimes is that like, oh yeah, Oda's going back and he's making the definitive version of the story. And it's just like, it's also tiresome and ridiculous. Like, One Piece live action is probably one of the worst things to happen to One Piece in its entire history. To be completely bluntly honest with you, I can't wait until the show ends so we can stop talking about it and we can stop like pretending to care. I'm sure at some point it's gonna have some like major polarizing like decisions made, and honestly, I think for me, I could already like feel that in season 1 with like all the race swaps and all like the stupid story changes and all like the dumb changes they made. There's so many things about season 1 that just don't work, honestly. And like my recommendation has always had like been like, well, like why watch this version when you can watch the superior anime or the manga? You know, like, and again, like, it really is just one of those things where it feels like normies will just eat up whatever slop Netflix throws out in front of them. You know, like, we saw the same thing with, like, Stranger Things, right? Where we were told for, like, a decade that, like, oh, yeah, this is the greatest thing on streaming. It's, like, it's so much fun. It's like the Goonies. Oh, like, we were told it was the greatest show ever, and what happens? Like, in the last season, some guy comes out, I'm gay, and then like, I think they spend like 10 minutes like hashing this out, and him telling a bunch of other people that like I'm gay. Again, it's like a very good testament, I think, as to like what the streaming audience is like. Because as long as it exists, as long as it's getting new content, you'll see people like obsessing over it and saying it's the greatest thing ever, and like really hyped for the future of it. And then when it ends, nobody's gonna care. And when it ends, it's gonna be this situation where like people are gonna be look back on it and be like, that was fucking bullshit. We saw that with Cobra Kai, we saw that with Game of Thrones. We're seeing this now with like One Piece live action. Like, why exactly do we have to keep going through this song and dance? Like, it's to the point now where I seriously don't want to hear about, like, whatever popular streaming show is coming out. Because, like, without fail, every single time, it's, like, complete bullshit that exists to, like, brainwash the masses. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've seen people who believe that, like, Usopp and Brook are, like, are black because of this show. Okay, I've seen people try to like justify the race swaps. I've seen people try and say that like, Vivi was always meant to be black. Like Vivi was always supposed to be a race swap. This is how Oda originally envisioned the character. Like, it's all just a giant cope, and it really does need to be spelled out for everyone just how like stupid and asinine it is. Like, again, the primary purpose of like One Piece live action, I think, is to sell the series to an audience that would otherwise like never follow along with or care about this stuff at all. Like, it's meant to be like a gateway to like the actual manga and anime series. So like, again, the idea that people have that like this is the definitive version or the best version or like the best entry level version, it's just not true. Like, that becomes more and more apparent, I think, all the time. And I do think that it's safe to say that like season 2 just isn't as well received as the first. I think the reason the first was so popular was simply because the bar was so low, and that like every single other Netflix anime like live action adaptation was just straight up garbage. And this like tried to resemble the manga on a superficial level. It tried to be successful, but like, more and more people, like fans, are watching this and pointing out like some pretty obvious like glaring flaws with it. It's been like very apparent to me even before season 1 came out that like what this was, and yet we're still in this process where like we're supposed to be excited about it. We're supposed to care about One Piece live action. We're supposed to care about this and think it's going to be exciting or cool, and it's just not. Is just my mentality, like, every time I see clips from this, is that, like, nothing about it is exciting to me at all. Like, I don't, like, again, like, I saw people try to do, like, this thing of, like, seeing, like, oh, Dobby's in a bikini, like, and I'm just like, have you never seen a girl in a bikini before? Like, why would I care about this mid? Okay? Why the fuck would I care? Okay? Like, it's like, this is just downright pathetic gaslighting, attempting to, like, appease the base I've ever seen in my life. Like, they, the show just seems badly produced. They're introducing, like, concepts that don't belong. And they're really desperately trying to create the illusion that this is, like, some major successful adaptation. And I don't think it is. I do think that really does need to be spelled out for people, is that this is probably going to be one of the worst things to happen to anime, like, this decade. Like, to be completely honest with you, I don't know anything that's done more to, like, actively harm the One Piece community than, like, the live action version. And you just know they're gonna try and push that, like, you know, the Yamato is a man thing in the live action version, and they're gonna try and, like, you know, butcher Water 7 or whatever. They're gonna try and, like, do whatever they can to keep the narrative going, that, like, to try and, like, legitimize some of, like, the weird left-wing talking points from, like, you know, commie propagandists. Like, you know, they're gonna try and do that, okay? And they already have tried to do that, tried that to a certain extent with the live action version, with, you know, how they depict Nami and, like, the race swaps and all that. Like, it's something that we do need to spell out more often. It's something that we do need to say, like, more frequently, is that, like, this is complete crap. Okay? Like, again, people do need to be a little bit more upfront with, like, these kinds of Netflix adaptions and, like, the changes they make to the source material. Like, I don't want, like, Netflix's interpretation of One Piece. Like, I just want a straight adaptation of the source material with no changes, no race swaps, no weird agendas inserted. Like, just adapt the source material. If you can't do that, I'm not interested. So, yeah, you can fuck right off with live action One Piece. Not gonna watch it, not gonna think about it again. Like, I probably won't even talk about it again until season 3 comes out or the show gets straight up canceled. And hopefully it happens before, like, Water 7. That's kind of my tipping point, honestly. But let's be real here. They're not getting past Skypiea. Like, let's be real here. There is no way they get past Skypiea. At a certain point, they are going to hit a brick wall where they can't make new seasons of this bullshit anymore. And when that happens, I will be so ecstatic. I cannot wait for this bullshit to end.